Said you'd be my one and only. Now I'm sitting here all lonely, looking for somebody to love me. Damn. Should've listened to my intuition. My homegirls warned me about you. Told me you weren't shit, but I had to learn to.
Queen.
Wow.
Well, first of all, what's playing in the living room?
Oh, that is Find Me by Amber Hairston. You can find her on Tidal and all of the things. Mm-hmm. She's a wonderful singer. I love her so much. Love hearing her beautiful voice.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, it's been a while.
Yes. Oh my God. Have you missed me?
Yes.
I miss you.
Wow. And I missed our podcast room. I missed our living room talk.
I know. I miss this nice yellow chair.
I know, right? I missed all the things.
I miss all the things. I hope you guys missed us because I miss y'all. I like talking to y'all.
I know, right? But, because we were gone, which only was just a couple days more than I feel like a week. Like, I feel like it was just like
I think
10
it was just like we
days or
missed
like
1 week, I feel.
11 or something like that. Yeah, like it hasn't been a full 2 weeks yet, but it feels like it's been forever. So,
yeah,
we got a lot to cover because of that.
Yeah, we have things to talk about.
Yeah, let's hop into it. Well, first of all, people, good morning. Good evening.
Yeah.
Good
Whenever
night.
You're listening to us.
Yes.
When you're cleaning your house, when you're washing your butt, all that. When you're driving to work.
Welcome back to the living room.
So I am Aisha Damali.
And this is Sid the Great. And
welcome
we are gonna
me. Welcome you.
Hop on in there with power because we are only days away from the return of Tasha St. Patrick.
Oh my God.
So
Month in review, kicking off with Power.
Yes, Power is days away, people, and I am just as excited as Aisha was for, Beyonce to play a baby lion.
No. Don't
However, with Power, we know that it will be spectacular.
Okay. No, I am excited for Power.
Yes. That was it. That was all I had to say. So also, good morning, good evening, and good night to everyone except for Angela Valdez.
Tariq.
And Tariq St. Patrick. So yes, well, here we go.
Fuck goes too. Why do people do this? Nobody ever wants to punish a man for being not shit.
He is shitty, but he gives me life.
Better what? But what?
Partly no good morning, good evening, and good night to Tariq because he's a terrible actor, but then also because
I'm not in this.
I hate his character. I'm just saying, the children, both of the children had to go. I was like, can y'all kill them both?
Raina?
Bad acting, not great acting.
She had shitty parents.
That has anything to do with her acting? I think it was poor writing.
She just didn't even know.
I think they should bring children in and ask them to write the children parts because I don't know I don't know if it was their writing. It wasn't it for me. Children actors, most of the time I'd be like cringy. I would kind of be a little cringy. But anyway, it's okay.
I always try if I think an actor, if I'm not feeling an actor, I'm like, can I blame the writer or can I blame whatever? Mm-hmm. I always so one of my favorite child actors was Dakota Fanning.
Okay.
When she was young.
Okay.
And so I'm like, could Dakota Fanning do something with these lines?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It's fair because she certainly could have. So Raina, you're right. She had to die.
So yeah, there's that.
Sorry,
Power is here. We are supposed to be having our final season 6, but 50 Cent likes to play with my emotions.
Do you want to have a watch party?
I think I gotta work.
Oh, this is awkward.
This is awkward. I gotta work till like 8:30.
When you get kicked out of the living room. Awkward.
Yeah. But that's okay. But I would love to have one next Sunday for episode 2. But you should have a watching party for the first episode, unless you're gonna play it at like 9. I could probably get to your house by 9. But it comes out.
It comes out on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you got the app, it comes out on Saturday.
I'm not rich. Sydney's rich. Okay, so we're all gonna pull up at Sydney's house because she's rich and she has the things.
Oh no, I don't have it either. I'm literally gonna get it because Power's coming back on.
Okay.
Which everybody.
So you're gonna make a fake email for stars?
No. I'm gonna pay for it.
You better not play with 50 Cent money. You know he.
I will play with 50 Cent's money. I won't play with Courtney A. Kemp's money. Everybody know. If you don't know, y'all, I don't like 50 Cent. I think he's an asshole. But so yeah, that's Power. All right. And my next month in review is the Pussy Fund, which I know you said you had not heard of.
I was like, Sydney, what is Pussy Fund? I have no idea what you're saying to me.
Of course
is this
you were.
Pussy like from Orange Is the New Black?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Oh.
So
still Pussy Fund.
No. It was announced on the final episode of Orange Is the New Black because the final season and the final episode they came out this year. So
Orange Is the New Black I haven't seen Orange Is the New Black in like 2 years.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's amazing. Like this season was so good.
From the beginning or something.
Yeah, to me it would be worth it. Like I would go back and rewatch the old episodes. Number one because I thought it was a good show, but I just feel like the last couple of seasons have just really taken it there with like how inmates are treated as far as the brutality is concerned. And this time, so I know you haven't watched it, not to ruin it for you, but they brought in ICE, and so they started telling the stories of immigrants and the whole illegal immigrant situation and how they don't have access to this or that in these internment camps. So I thought it was magnificent. But back to
when the shows go to the things.
Absolutely. So what the fund does is it supports 8 pre-existing nonprofits, and these nonprofits focus on criminal justice, policy reform, immigrant rights, and those affected by mass incarceration.
So the actress Poussey is starting a fund.
Not the actor, the creators of Orange is the New Black. And so the reason why they named it the Poussey Fund is because they were saying that this was a character people could relate to. When we have these police brutality issues, it's very easy to dehumanize and be like, oh, well, they had weed in their system, so they deserve to get shot. Oh, they stole a candy bar or a Rello, whatever the hell it was going on with Mike Brown, so he deserved to be shot. But they were saying, but Poussey, people loved her. And when she died the way that she did, like, that made people feel some kind of way. So we're naming this fund after her, even though she's a fictional character, because our whole goal, again, is to humanize these people and make you understand that their stories are real and they're relevant and they're worth hearing. And maybe you fall in love with them, too, if you knew them. So I love that it's named after her. And the 8 organizations that are involved include A New Way of Life, Anti-Recidivism Coalition, College and Community Fellowship, Freedom for Immigrants, Immigrant Defenders Law Center, the Unprisoned Project, Women's Prison Coalition, and the National Council for Incarcerated Women and Women and Girls. And like A New Way of Life, just to give you guys an example, like they focus on advocacy, leadership, housing, and pro bono legal services. So that's just some of the things that organization does, but all of them center on like immigrants' rights, immigrants' legal services, re-entry back into society after being imprisoned, and just all the, because that's what the whole Orange is the New Black was about, was saying like, we take you out of society, you come back, and like the world has changed. Like, just think about how much the world changes overnight. Oh yeah, we get so much news a day, so think about what it must have felt like to be taken out of society for even a year or 10 years, and what it must feel like to try to re-enter society and function as a normal citizen. So I love it. I thought it was so dope, and I love the fact that they named it after her. Like, I was like, that's the coolest thing ever, like, because people were I know it hit me in the chest. So where did you see this announcement? It's literally on the last episode. Like the last episode, like the credits, I think it's either before or after the credits, but it says like Poussey Fund, and then it has like the website. So if you watch the last episode of the final season, you'll see it up there. And it's like they should make that bigger. Like, I don't know, maybe it's on their Instagram or something, but I feel like that should be more broadcasted. Yeah, but I think if you watch the show, if you watch it, I think it comes on before the credits though. I hope it does. Like you said, like who watches the credits, so hopefully it does. But to me, I was like, wait a minute, what? And so then it made me want to go look it up and see what it was, because I was like, is this a real website? That was the first thing I thought, and it really was. And you're saying like, yeah, we named it after her, even though she's fake. Like her story is real. So yeah, very cool. Yeah, I thought it was super dope. Poussey Fund. Oh, and then my next month in review, I said I'm just gonna read. I'm gonna read from the article because I can't fathom. Like, I'm like, I must be reading this wrong. So I was like, I'm gonna read it directly to you and to you guys listening, and then you can tell me if this makes sense to you. So the article is called "Court Upholds Ruling That Children Held at Border Have Adequate Food, Bedding, Sanitation." So it says, in a closely watched case, a federal appeals court Thursday upheld an order requiring immigration authorities to provide children detained at the border with adequate food, water, bedding, toothbrushes, and soap. A 3-judge panel on the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals rejected an appeal by the Trump administration to an order by the federal judge in Los Angeles who found the government was violating a 1997 settlement by failing to provide detained minors with safe and sanitary conditions. So it says the U.S. District Judge Dolly G. issued the order in 2017 after finding that minors in U.S. Customs and Border Protection custody were held in conditions that deprived them of sleep, and that they did not have adequate food, clean water, or basic hygiene items. The settlement, known as the Flores Agreement, required children be given safe and sanitary quarters. So this is the part where I was like, I must be reading this wrong. The government appealed, arguing the order changed the settlement agreement. The original settlement said nothing about allowing children to sleep or wash themselves with soap, the federal government said. Nice, yeah. So I'm like, no. Whose government? Yeah. No, that sounds, yeah. And I kept about right. Sounds about white. Right. Like I kept being like, no, I'm reading it wrong. So I was like, no, let me just read it out on the podcast. So I'm like, because I just was like, no, I have to be reading this incorrectly. Like, our government said what? Like, so meaning our government is saying, no, y'all ain't saying nothing about no damn soap or no toothbrushes. Meaning what you're saying is that y'all try to find the loophole or try to say like, well, look at this black and white. It don't say nothing about no toothbrushes. So you're trying to say that you don't want to give them toothbrushes and soap? Like, I was like, that can't be what this is saying. And so, like, my immediate response to it was, I was reading some of Huey P. Newton's writings. I think it's from the 70s, or a speech that he gave, and he was saying, like, that people make history and people create society. So when I read that, I was like, wow, are we happy with what we've created, or are we happy with what we've silently agreed to by doing absolutely nothing? Because how did we get here? Mm-hmm. How did we get a government that says, y'all ain't saying about no toothbrushes and no soap and sleep for human beings?
And you know what? I saw plenty of people say things like, well, they're here illegally, or they should have soap back where they came from, or whatever. And I'm just like, people are, wow, incredible. The fact that you can sleep at night knowing that you don't give a fuck about anybody else because they're quote unquote illegal. First of all, no human being is illegal.
Yeah,
no human being is illegal on stolen land. Furthermore,
right.
It's disgusting the way we're treating human beings, and the fact that they're children. Of course, that's heartbreaking to me. But I'm like, I don't give a fuck if it's a grown ass man. You don't treat humans, like they're beneath you, because they're not. Nobody is.
Yeah. And on like Orange is the New Black, again, not to ruin it for you, but there's a character who ends up getting deported back to El Salvador, and they're walking through the mountains to reach El Salvador, and she like falls and breaks her ankle, and the guy picks her up and carries her for a little while, and then he like gives her water and drops her behind a bush where she has shade, and he's like, I'll try to come back and get you. And I'm like, this is what we're deporting people back to. Like and so I'm watching it, and like people are being deported, so they're like flying planes to wherever they're going back to. So I'm like, we're taking money that we could be spending on all other kinds of things to fly these illegal immigrants that you people so quote unquote call them back to their home country. So I'm like, how much money is that? Like, could we use some of that to give maybe these, children some toothbrushes and soap? Like, we're so hellbound on getting these people the fuck out of here that we'll just waste shit tons of money. Like, how much does it take to fill up airplane's gas tank? And they were like,
and you know what? Think about all the money that you spend on inmates. Like, I mean, this is just like, I mean, it's like an endless rabbit hole that we can get into of all the things that are wrong.
Right.
But I mean, we spent, I think the number was something like $70,000 a year per inmate or something wild. And it's just like, you know what we could be doing? Therapy. You know what we could be doing? Literally anything else than putting human beings in cages and treating them like dog shit.
Yeah,
Obama conditions
literally,
that you put them in.
Right. Obama literally said that for 1 year of what we pay to keep people incarcerated, we could make college free. So when people are like prisons, like, and when I'm talking to people about prisons and trying to find a new system to deal with crime and criminality or whatever, I'm like, I don't really think prisons are effective. And people are like, oh, well, what about the people who da 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 da? And I'm just like, again, what would happen if these people had equal access to fresh food, clean water, equal education? And again, we have never tried it that way. So when people argue against that for me, when they're already like, no, that wouldn't work. No, that's not possible. We never tried it that way. How do you know it's impossible? We've literally never done it. So, yeah. And I know that's a tangent, but yeah, back to...
and it's okay. We haven't had one in a while.
Right. Back to the children that don't have toothbrushes and soap and are not allowed to sleep. And our government is out here saying, y'all ain't saying nothing about no toothbrushes and no soap or no sleep or like, okay, sanitation. My question to everybody who's listening is, are you happy with what you've created? Are we happy with what we've done? And are we happy with what we silently agreed to? Because again, how did we get here? How do we get government? Like, who you're supposed to be representative of the people, and I don't hear any representation on my part from a government that's saying y'all ain't saying nothing about no toothbrushes or no soap in y'all's law. And the fact that I'm like, we need a law for that. Whether these people are from El Salvador or South Carolina, we need a law for that.
And you know what? I feel like we could talk forever, but of course, one of the main things you see, at least in America, is people saying, well, we don't have to do X, Y, and Z for these people. And even though I'm Christian, but these people need to obey the laws. Ain't that what the Bible say? But if we are reading the Bible, which I don't care about, but if we are reading the Bible, Job 31:32 says, no stranger had to spend the night in the street, for my door was always open to the traveler. Also, it says, do not oppress, in Exodus 23:9, do not oppress a foreigner. You yourselves know how it feels to be foreigners because you were foreigners in Egypt. Basically, even white Jesus think y'all ain't shit for this. Like, you're not supposed to be condemning and being just terrible people because somebody is a quote unquote foreigner. They're a quote unquote alien. If you were a true Christian or you were a true believer in, I don't know, anything with humanity, then you wouldn't treat people like shit because they quote unquote weren't born here, aren't from here. I will never understand somebody being like, well, they ain't from here, or they can take their ass back to their country. Excuse me, Karen. You are from the Caucasus Mountains. Do not come for the people who are black and brown, who come here for better lives.
Yeah, the Reverend Barber, who he put together Moral Mondays, which is a method of protest. I'm pretty sure for policy reform. He came and spoke at ECU, and he was like, Jesus was a immigrant.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I mean, it's like, you know how you're shook, but it's not because you already didn't agree with whatever like the person is saying, but it's just kind of like well, I ain't never heard it that way before. Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah.
Like when he said that, I was shook.
That's why you have to keep having dialogue, because there's gonna be so many people that are like, well, ain't they foreigners? Ain't they this? Ain't they that? And don't they bring crime? You'd be like, oh, well, actually, crime is actually this statistic. And actually, if we're talking about Jesus, then Jesus is from here, came here for what? Religious freedom, to inspire people to basically be free and make their own decisions. Yeah. If God gives us a choice, why can't we give other people choices? Yeah. And we supposed to be God-like? Ain't you supposed to embody God?
And I feel like the main thing I always hear is, oh, they're taking jobs. I'm like, whose jobs?
I will say that the quote-unquote foreigners, I hate that word so much, but the people that I know work like 14 hours a day and have like 3 jobs. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know how, but God bless.
Right.
I don't know one American person that wants to work 14 hours a day and also get off work and go to their other job.
Right.
I don't know anybody. I could literally work 8 hours and be like, Jesus Christ, I've got to get out of this work life. I can't handle it. Like,
they work extremely
8
hard.
hours is a lot for me. And I know people who, like, at least in my job, work doubles every single day, 7 days a week.
Yeah. And that's crazy thing
and get paid shit.
Yeah, right. So have you ever seen Queen Sugar?
You know what? You have talked about it so much, and I saw it on your blog, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch it. I think I tried to watch the first episode, and I just couldn't get into it. I'm going to try again when I'm not distracted, because I was distracted at the time. Yeah. But I couldn't get into it. I was very confused at the very first episode. So I was like, I don't know what's going on here.
It's definitely got a different method of storytelling. Even the color composition, I feel like I just be looking at it like, wow, this is so beautiful. It's shot in New Orleans.
You know what it started off with? Do you remember how the first episode starts off? It's like a beautiful dark-skinned woman with locks in bed with Tom.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You gotta. She's. I think so. Ava DuVernay. That's she created the show.
She does the thing.
She absolutely. And she was saying that part of what we're trying to do is talk about the complexity of blackness, because she was saying that blackness is all of these things, but we kind of try to limit it or appropriate it to be certain things. And I'm trying to really show you the complexities of blackness. And so you have a black. I know you haven't gotten into it yet, but she's an activist, like Black Lives Matter, trying to get this.
This reminds me of Dear White People.
So I haven't seen Dear White People, but she's like trying to get this black boy who's in prison, who's being beaten because he's too young to be in prison, kind of thing. She's trying to get him out, and meanwhile she's dating this white cop. He's a cop. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So like it's just so complex, but as the story unravels, because I think some shows are a little slower like unraveling than others, and some shows are not dramatic. Like, this is not a power, this is not an empire, you know what I'm saying? It's a, like, this could really be happening kind of story, kind of like Insecure. Like, I would put it in the same category as Insecure, because when I watch Insecure, I'd be like, oh, this is so realistic, this could really happen. So like that's why I'm like, oh, I like this show, because it's, even the way it's shot, to me, it's like plain. Like, it's almost shot, like, it's like I want to know what kind of cameras they're using, because even when I'm looking at it, it's like, it's so plain to me. Like, it's not all glossy looking, and like, these movies that come out now, I'm like, oh, it's so pretty, like it's so visually stunning, but I'm like, this is visually stunning in a different way. And I think again, it's all about the story she's trying to tell. And so I brought it up because there's a part that happens, and I won't tell you the story, but there's a part where one of the characters ends up saying, like, we've just replaced black with brown. And so they're saying, like, now we just use illegal immigrants, or we use Hispanic people for our slave labor. And that's another reason why I love the show, because Ava DuVernay, she studied Black history, and every time I see somebody that studied Black history and I see how they operate through the world, I'm just like, this is why this major is the shit. Like, this is why, like, the way that she sees our world, I feel like, and the way she depicts it on screen is just so dope. I think she really has a good grasp on intersectionality and showcasing that, because even her name is Nova. She is, I don't want to give her a title that isn't true, but she has sex with men and women on the show too. Okay. So I'm like, again, here goes that complexity, and then for her to be so dark, and then she has a super light skinned sister, and I'm just like, again, here, and then you got what's the Kofi Siriboe.
I saw him on
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So like, and then you got dark skinned brother, and then she's talking about, because he was incarcerated, now he's out of prison. So now she's talking about what it looks like again for someone to reintegrate into society, and what it looks like to be on probation, and what it looks like to be black and to have been in prison, and the kind of jobs you can get, and how people treat you, how your family treats you because you were in prison. So the story's so dope. Like, I would definitely recommend continuing to watch it.
When I tried to watch it and it didn't go well, I'm like, I'm gonna try this again.
Yeah, but I brought Queen Sugar up, tangent, to talk about how we just replaced brown with black. Like, again, these people are doing horrible jobs, hard ass jobs, working super hard, and doing jobs that I don't think people would want anyway. Like when people, they're taking our jobs. So you, like, let's just use Queen Sugar as an example. So you want to go out there on that sugar plantation and cultivate sugar? That's the job that you are so up in arms about? Shut your ass up. That's what we want to say. Like, be quiet. You don't care. No. It's like, and people use things to their advantage when they advantage them. Yeah. Like, oh my God, I don't want these immigrants over here, because that means, because have you heard that people are saying the reason why white people are doing some of the crazy things they're doing, like passing non-Muslim laws and building walls, is because they're becoming more and more of a minority. They were already a minority as far as the world's people are concerned, but they're becoming more of a minority in the United States. And even the fact that they're hearing articles about saying that everybody's going to be tan by 2050, that scares them, and that's why they're doing these things. Yeah,
but whatever.
but they're saying, like, that's why they're doing these crazy things. Like, it's because they're becoming a minority, and it's becoming more and more salient that they're becoming a minority, and they're just panicked. And I'm not talking about all white people. Before anybody say something about me being racist, I'm talking about the racist white people.
Black people being racist. That's a whole nother tangent. LOL.
Right. But
they say when you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. So
okay. So yeah, that wraps up my month in review.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, the next two are very highly requested that we talk about.
All right.
So Cindy, I'm going to start by asking you, what do you know about the Amazon fires in Brazil?
I know that the Amazon is on fire, and it has been on fire for some weeks now, and apparently the media is not covering it. And all that I got from a tweet. I have not done any sit-down research.
Okay, cool. So, well, not cool, but so the Amazon, I feel like we all probably learned in school, is the lungs of the planet.
I did not learn that in school.
Oh, wow.
And excuse me, I feel like some stuff.
You didn't remember? You didn't give a fuck?
No, I feel like some stuff might have just went over my head or I just forgot it because I've been putting so much other stuff into my brain. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like your brain will be, all right, now I'm gonna kick the Amazon out because you're trying to put more Huey in there. Let me kick the Amazon out from when you learned it in second grade. So maybe I did, but I forgot.
Well, we learned it in. Okay, there's something. Somebody had this mic down their throat because there's something on this mic. My God. Okay, so the Amazon is on fire, has been burning for several weeks. So this is between August and I believe it's November. It's basically when you see the most fires in the Amazon. Basically whether accidental or environmental. There's not usually a lot of wildfires like there is in like California or somewhere dry because the Amazon is so humid. But they do have fires pretty much during this time of year. But anyways, the Amazon is, it absorbs a lot of carbon from the, are you good?
No, I'm fine. I just am drinking, and I feel like people can hear me.
Okay.
And I'm like,
I thought you were gonna throw up.
No. I move because I keep trying to come back to give those affirming but I keep trying to get off the mic to drink. So, and I forgot that I was still on the mic, and I was supposed to be over here.
That's
so
okay.
Yep.
You can gulp in the mic. It's fine.
No, that's okay. I don't want to. Continue. Sorry.
Okay, so the Amazon absorbs carbon, right, from the atmosphere. If it's burning, it's releasing that carbon back into the universe, which means if the Amazon has 20% of the emissions,
Are you sure the scientists on the mic?
It's absorbed, then when it catches fire, it's going to be emitting that carbon back into the universe, which means we're all going to die. So don't worry about being alive in 2050 because we won't be. But anyway, so they're all on fire. So it's not basically wildfires that are started by lightning strikes or etc. It is environmentalist experts say that it's pretty much almost 90% going to be human lit fires. So basically, humans are lighting the Amazon on fire, trying to kill us all because ... It's for clearing the land, for agriculture, business, and for land mining. And the reason, so these fires are up 84% from last year at the same time. So yes, no, it's not a regular thing that's going on. This is something new. This is something a lot more extreme. One of the reasons being there's a new elect president, Jair Bolsonaro. It's something crazy. I'm definitely going to mispronounce it anyway. But he basically is like, we need to up our economy. That's how he got elected. He was basically like, oh, yeah, we're going to get this shit together. I'm going to bring more money into this country. How he wanted to do that is by agricultural. It's by chattel. It's by land mining, all those things, taking advantage of the Amazon because the Amazon has such a plethora of nutrients and goods that they can be making money off of. So instead of just, letting us breathe and letting the original indigenous tribes of the Amazon live and be well, we're going to light it all on fire so we can take advantage of that land. But he denies it, and he's just like, oh no, I have no idea what's going on. But he's taken away the funds and the resources for the Amazon protectors. Basically, he's like, oh yeah, if you see illegal deforestation, we're not going to be writing so many penalties for them. We're pretty much going to take away all penalties for illegal deforestation because, again, he's bringing money into the country. So that is why the Amazon is ablaze right now, and that is why we're all going to die probably next year. You're all welcome. So if you haven't listened to this podcast, listen now. You're not going to be able to listen to it soon. So yeah, that is kind of just a very brief, probably really shitty summary of what's going on. And you might think, okay, well, what do we do? What do we do? One of the main things you can do is talk about it, but also writing letters into governments about how this is not okay. The G7, which is basically the most powerful economies in the world, it's oh my god, I don't want to get them wrong, but Italy, Canada, France, the UK, the United States, Russia, I don't remember the last one, but it's basically the 7 most powerful economic countries. They meet together to help try to resolve conflicts within other countries, within themselves, because they are the most powerful. So they're the ones who can say, hey, if you do this, we're going to boycott this, or we're going to tax you more on this if you don't stop doing XYZ in your country. That's kind of their purpose. So hopefully when the G7 gets together, they can try to help resolve this and, make deforestation completely illegal, because you are taking the homes of indigenous people. You are taking the homes of the Amazon encompasses 10% of all known species in the world, but also probably more than that, because there's no way, it's 2 million acres of land. There's no way you could possibly know all the species that are in the Amazon. But if we take that away, we're not going to be able to breathe. We're not going to have half the species that we have. And then 1 out of every 10 species that we know is from the Amazon. So you're going to be taking away pretty much most of the world if those continue to burn. But again, it's up 84% from last year's fires.
Wow. That made me sad.
It's very sad.
Because I'm just like, I just, every time, while you were speaking, I recall this meme I saw that was when all the air is poisoned and all the water is poisoned and and other things are, and when everything is poisoned, we're going to remember that you can't eat and drink money. Yeah. And it's just and I haven't talked to God personally. God has not talked back to me personally, but I'm just I don't think this is what God had in mind. I don't think God put all this beauty down here, and even that, it just goes to show. And mind you, I think we're very intertwined with our environment. I think when the environment is suffering, we are suffering. Kalia had said something about with the temperatures rising, it's going to increase more pollination, which is why people's allergies are getting worse because of global warming.
And they said the fires are going to increase the global temperature at least by 2 degrees. And literally 1 degree can melt an ice cap. So 2 degrees, literally this quickly, in 1 year, basically. Girl, we're not going to be alive in 2050. I ain't even sweating what the population going to look like, because we're not going to be here.
And then in my head, this is what we talking about. In my head, I'm like, okay, so y'all are saying y'all don't want to give immigrant children toothbrushes and soap. And the universe is saying, oh, okay, well, we going to heat y'all asses up.
Oh, yeah. I am a full believer that planet Earth, Mother Earth, is going to kill us all before we kill her. Okay, she gonna swallow us whole, and I ain't mad at her. Go ahead. Right,
it's just wild. I'm just again, is it money that important? And then I'm again, you found that out. I didn't know any of the stuff you just told me until just now. But guess what? I learned it in less than probably 2 minutes. You're telling me this man who's running a government don't know that shit? And then I'm and how do we I know this is a tangent, but I remember when Hillary and Donald Trump were running against each other. I was this is the best we can come up with. I was
yeah. And I don't know anything about his components. I'm not Brazilian, and that doesn't really give me an excuse not to be able to read and look up articles. I don't know who he's running against and what I guess they were offering or not offering.
Yeah.
But I mean, the people who make money off of the economic potential of the Amazon, if they know they can make more money by more farming, by more livestock, by more land mining, by maybe paper goods, then they're going to do it. They don't give a fuck that indigenous people literally live there. They preserve their cultures, their languages, their religions. They don't give a fuck about any of that shit.
Yeah.
They're like, we need some money in this country, and this is how we gonna do it.
Yeah. Have you seen Avatar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what this sounds like to me.
Oh, absolutely. Minus the fact that like the Amazon is already in their country, but at the end of the day, I mean, the Amazon is the lungs, and he. So the funny thing about Bolsonaro, that's how you say it. I'm pretty sure. But Bolsonaro is basically Donald Trump of Brazil.
Oh, okay.
He's like, oh yeah, this climate change thing is a hoax. These fires, it happens every year. Fires happen every year. So right now there's over 72,000 fires burning right now as we speak. Over 72,000. It's not one big ass fire that they lit in the Amazon. It's over 72,000 different ones across the Amazon. Not necessarily in Brazil, but across the Amazon, because a lot of countries are doing the same thing, deforestation, because they're trying to exploit the land. But over 72,000, which is up, like I said, like 84% from last year. So this isn't just one thing. It's almost hard to say, okay, so what's the solution? The only solution could be the lawmakers making it illegal to be out here deforesting. And I mean, I really don't know. I mean, and give money to the relief efforts of like people, because one of the things that Bolsonaro said was, well, we don't have the resources in this country as of yet to put out all these fires or to help combat all these fires, even though he's basically the one letting it happen and probably funding it happening. But he's like, yeah, but there's nothing we can do. But I mean, there are things that you can do, because there are people who are trying to preserve their land and preserve the whole universe, basically. Yeah. So there are wildlife efforts and environmental efforts, Amazon protectors that you can probably give to help them. If the government isn't going to give them resources, at least we can all help give resources. But the sad part is there were millionaires, billionaires here in the United States that when that church over in Europe, the Notre Dame, right? I think that's what it's called. I don't even give a fuck. But when it was lit ablaze, people were donating millions and billions of dollars to rebuild this church. A church that cannot help or save anyone. It's just like this big, giant museum, basically. Okay, it's pretty. It's got stained glass and, I don't know, somebody famous probably carved artwork in that bitch. But who gives a fuck? We cannot live off of this church. Okay? But you know what we can live off? Air.
Right.
Like, can we please stop burning the planet?
And
can we please put those relief efforts that keep that same energy for the way we preserve life, people?
Yeah. And it reminds me of just, again, more of Huey P. Newton's writings, where he talked about, like, if we're going to reparate African Americans, we have to reparate the whole world, because America has benefited off of all of the world's people, all of its peoples of color and things like that. And in my head, I'm like, see, if money were communal, if it wasn't about I feel better than you because I have more money than you, we would be like, oh, Brazil hurting for money? Here, please don't burn the Amazon. Here's a couple billion real quick.
Yeah, like, here's some money.
Right. Like, if this is the problem, but again, then I give you money and your greedy ass still, you need more, so help Amazon up in flames again. Like, money is not real. It's not even a real thing. Yeah. We've made it real, and we continue to submit to it being real by using it. But if everybody went, fuck this money shit, the people have the power, period. Yeah. Period. The government says money's real and all the people say it's not, then that shit is not real. Yeah. So I'd be like, why do we still go along with this shit?
The thing is, I don't know how the people of Brazil feel about it. I think it's kind of like I said, like here, like a Donald Trump thing. There's some fucking nutbags that are probably like, I get that. We should just burn all of our land for money. We should just burn it all. Even though we can't eat money. Like you said, we can't drink money, you know? Let's just burn it all. But then the like normal functioning, like have some brain cells people are like, excuse me, we're not here for this. We didn't even vote for you. Russia voted for your ass. Right. Like, we don't want to burn our Amazon. What are y'all doing? So it would be interesting to have somebody's perspective on that. If we got any listeners in Brazil, like, hit us up. We got one in Canada?
Yeah, we have one
in
Canada.
Canadian, what's up? But yeah, I mean, it's sad. I would like to hear what more people have to say about it that are actually experiencing it, even though it's going to affect the entire world.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I definitely would like to hear somebody who is there. And again, I do we got any scientists listening? Let's bring some science.
I hope
or
not,
something to
because
the
they probably
show.
like, Aisha, you sound dumb as fuck. But I tried to give y'all my best. I can only say things how I comprehend
No, you
them.
are definitely Aisha, the science girl.
You know, I tried to do the
Aisha,
things.
the
I try to
science girl.
articulate.
So yeah, no, I mean, you sounded smart to me, but I also fucking hate science.
I'm Aisha guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that-
Aisha
oh,
Nye.
Bill,
Aisha
yep,
Nye.
there you go.
I mean, Aisha Nye, science gal.
Aisha now, the science gal.
Hey! I'm changing my Instagram.
I'm gonna put that in the podcast. The podcast
description?
yep.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. So let's move on.
That was a lot. I think I got some zits, and I think my hair fell out. I was so stressed out
Honestly,
listening to that.
Where are my edges? I don't even have any anymore.
That was so fucking sad.
Very sad. So, but Mother Earth, please just wipe us all out before we wipe you out. I'm so sorry. Hate humans.
We clearly gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta get the hell out of here. We're not doing it right over here. All right, so we're moving on to the Jay-Z NFL deal topic. And I was really, so this is, of course, sparked a lot of conversation. There's already been a lot of interviews and a lot of celebrities speaking up or against or what have you. But it's interesting to hear people's perspectives. So Jay-Z has signed a deal with the NFL. And what do you know about it so far, Sid? Or what do you want to say about it so far? I'll get into explaining it.
My understanding of it is that he signed an entertainment agreement that he's going to have some power over the NFL Super Bowl shows and something about some social justice. I saw that word mentioned in there. And I've heard a lot of, again, like you said, a lot of disagreeing opinions. Like I read a whole article this morning that was saying like people who thought that it was about him getting some ownership of a team, part ownership, and they were saying like, nah, bruh, not gonna happen. But from a legit source that says that's not happening. So that's not why. And they were just calling him all kinds of things. Like the article I was reading would say shit like Jay-Z the sellout, but then they would cross out the word sellout. And then like it would say Jay-Z the rapper or something like that. Like it was like the article was coming for him everywhere it could. So that's what I know so far. But please inform me of all the deets.
Okay, so rapper Jay-Z, husband of my mother, Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter, has signed a deal with the NFL to be their live entertainment strategist. Also doubling as an effort to affect social change. So a core component of the partnership will be to amplify the Inspire Change platform and prioritize areas identified by NFL players, including education and economic advancement, improving police community relations, and criminal justice reform. So basically, a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, he just wants to make money for a halftime show or to play ape shit in the NFL stadiums. But also, I don't think that Jay-Z is a checkers player. I think he plays chess. I don't think he's a dumbass. I don't think he would let people use him. I think he can see past all of those things, especially sleeping in bed next to my mother every night. So I will have to say that on this topic, I see, a lot of people, sell out this, sell out that. I don't think that Jay-Z is a sellout. I think that we have to see what comes of it. What he said in several interviews was, okay, we've knelt, now what? And I think that that's fair. You can protest all day long, but then what? If a cop kills a kid, we can protest. And then what? Go home and sleep at night? Then what? We have to do something. We have to affect change besides talking about it, besides tweeting about it, besides kneeling whenever the anthem comes on. Because eventually that shit is going to start getting ignored. Okay, yeah, we know black people kneel when the anthem comes on. Like, something else has to be done. And I think that this is a good step in the right direction. And we won't really know until we start seeing the fruits of the labor.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I will say the only grievance I have about it is that Colin Kaepernick is not included. But we don't know the ins and outs of that. When he had his collusion case and he won a settlement, I guess I should say, he and Eric Reed, we don't know how much the NFL ended up paying because that's all private. They won't share that with the public. But when he had his collusion case and they had an agreement, that I don't want to say that's the end of, okay, Colin looking for a job, but we don't know if he's even allowed to. Of course, the NFL commissioner has said, oh, yeah, he can totally get signed with any team. We have nothing against that, but we honestly don't know because they're really not allowed to talk about it. So as far as Jay-Z being able to work with him, maybe because he had a settlement with the NFL, maybe Jay-Z isn't able to work with him, or maybe he is. I also read that he's supposed to be not a sole owner. It's not supposed to be Jay-Z's New York Giants. It's not supposed to be that. It's what I read is that he might become part owner, which a lot of celebrities are part owners of teams. More so I think in basketball than in football, because you know the NFL is like super slave master bullshit, so they don't be letting black people, like apparently Oprah and several other celebrities try to buy specific teams at one point, and they were like, oh hell no, we don't care if you got the money, we're not letting black people own shit. So even if our friend over here don't have the money, he's Caucasian, so we're gonna give it to him first. So I don't think he can be a sole owner, especially because he's only like worth $1 billion allegedly. Because like NFL teams like average like $3 billion to purchase, and you would also have to buy the team and buy those rights, and also buy the stadium as well. Which is why when certain teams like get picked up by a different owner, sometimes they'll move or they'll change stadiums or something. But anyways, maybe in that collusion case, maybe there's something against him working with Colin, or they'll say, listen, Jay-Z, we're going to help. We're going to work in the environments to help with police relations in the communities, but we can't have Colin be a part of it because he was already in a lawsuit with us. Yeah. So I think it's most fair to keep an open mind about why Jay-Z did this and why Colin Kaepernick wasn't included, I guess, in the meeting, because Jay-Z did talk to him. He said that they talked. Maybe Nessa got on air like, oh, fuck this. I think she's great in the fact that she defends Colin. She's been working side by side with him for all these years. But I don't think it's fair I think the sole purpose of so many things are to divide black people, divide Malcolm X, divide Martin Luther King. And I'm not necessarily going to compare these two, but I mean, look at the division it's causing. Black people, oh, Jay-Z's a sellout. Since when? Look at everything he's done for his communities. Look at the Khalif Browder miniseries. Look at the Trayvon Martin. Look at all these things that he's done in the community. He even supported Colin Kaepernick, wore his jersey on Saturday Night Live. I think that he supported him in many ways. I don't think there's any reason. He's not Kanye West. I think we're good, people. Like, I think it's okay to accept what he's saying and at least give it a shot.
Yeah. So my response is... and I definitely understood everything you were saying. I don't fuck with this at all. Okay. And it's because to me, it just sounds like a easy way for black people to go perform at the NFL and feel like it's okay because Jay-Z has a partnership. Jay-Z is now overseeing who can perform, and he's black. So I'm black now and I can go get this white check and go dance and rap and sing for Massa. That's what it sounded like to me. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Because, and it's all based off of what you just said. You just said the NFL won't let black people own a team. Motherfucking Oprah came up in there and said, let me get a team. And the NFL is so white and so powerful. They were like, nah, sis. Right. So what's Jay-Z's?
I will say that's all alleged, but I did read that.
Let's say alleged. So what's our end? What's our end?
But if we are going to take that route, then we have to say every black person that plays in the NFL needs to quit right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Get the fuck out.
But right. So if you see this Jay-Z thing, you say, fuck Jay-Z, then you need to say, fuck every single black player. Yeah. Period. Yeah. You need to say, fuck everybody that's getting a check to feed their families. At the end of the day, Cindy, you work for a white man. I work for a white man. Like, we all work for the white man.
I don't work for a white man who has fired a black person for kneeling at the vitamin shop when the national anthem came on.
Right, but they probably fire people for less.
But I don't know that, though. This is blatant and in my face. There's a lot of things I could be like, oh, because absolutely, for the most part, everything is owned by white people. And why? Because we don't support black business, which the whole point of starting a black business is so a black person can hire black people. But because you're black and blackness don't mean shit to me, blackness is less than human, I'm gonna go fuck with this white brand first. So it's a lot of brainwashing involved, absolutely. And I'm not saying that even with, because I just had this conversation with a friend about how the NFL player wise is so black and there are no black owners, none. And I'm like, there's something wrong with that. And I think it's a lot to do with how we socialize black boys. We socialize men to already think they're nothing other than their bodies to begin with. Oh, it's a war, go fight, men, go throw your bodies to the wind, good luck. Oh, NFL, go possibly get CTE, but you'll get a check. You can help your family, but how much help are you going to be to your family when you commit suicide and kill yourself? So I'm like, to me, I don't fuck with the NFL. I don't fuck with football. I don't fuck with, and I'm not, and again, so let me say this. Let me make this very clear. I don't see Jay-Z's plan. I don't know where he's going with this, and it might be something great. And I will come back and say I was wrong if I'm wrong. But for right now, I don't see this doing anything. You just sat here and said that the NFL is not going to let him own a team. The NFL is not letting any other black people own a team. The NFL is super black player wise. Like, I saw a chart that was like, if the chart was an inch long no, let's say the chart is a foot long, 11 inches of that chart were black, and no inches of that chart were black on the ownership side. So I'm like, where are you going with this? I need to know where you're going. Like, I need you to actually tell me.
We have to, at some point, get somewhere.
But see, and my thing
we can't say, oh, white people own everything. Well, let me just sit back and let me do something else or whatever. Like, why can't we start putting our feet in the door? Because if Jay-Z maybe owns part of a team, then maybe coming up in a few years, somebody else owns half of a team and then 3/4 of a team and then a whole team.
We won't be here long enough for that. The Amazon is burning.
You're right. We're going to be dead.
So,
but I'm saying at least there's a step in direction because at the end of the day, I feel like because Colin hasn't necessarily said anything, but his camp has. Nessa has. Eric Reed has. Several other celebrities have spoken out, but we don't know what Colin exactly has said. You know, people calling him coward, this, that, and the third, calling Jay-Z coward and all these things. And it's just like, you cannot call Jay-Z these things if you don't call all of your teammates these things, who shouldn't be your teammates. If you believe this strongly, you should all quit.
But see, I'm on that side,
but
though.
at the end of the day, I know that I've been in places where I'm sure black people have been fired for less. So I feel like it's not fair for me to work for something, even though it's not blatant public knowledge, but I've had friends be like, oh, I got fired for X, Y, and Z. Does that mean I should quit a job and not be able to pay my bills?
It means you should make moves to get somewhere else. But again,
everywhere is like this.
And I don't think that's, but again, if we supported black business, we could go work for ourselves. And not to say, again, just because you're my skin folk don't mean you're my kinfolk.
Right.
But I'm going to keep on looking until I find it. I don't have any knowledge of any racially motivated shit at my job. I don't have any knowledge of it. So nobody could come to me and say, oh, Cindy, you a sellout because you said we work at a vitamin shop. Well, show me the facts. Because once you show me the facts, then it's up to me to try to make choices. For the facts. Right. And I even will go along with that. But see, for me, I'm like, okay, if you want to be successful, do what successful people do. Successful black protests in the past was, let's stay off the bus. That was the protest. That suffocated them money-wise. They didn't have no choice but to go, oh shit, let them black people sit in the front because we are hurt. We are hurt. Same thing with the sit-ins. That hurt businesses. They had to close certain days of the week altogether. But so what I'm saying is
that's an action.
And that's my point. Let's all leave.
Yeah.
I don't want no parts of this shit no more. Like, I don't want none. Like, I don't want no black boys playing for the NFL. Me and my friend were having a conversation about this the other day. I would rather, you know how people would say, like, I'd rather my child be a murderer than be gay. I almost rather my child be a murderer than play for the NFL. Like, that racist ass shit, I don't want no parts of it. I don't want none. None. The NFL metaphorically lynched Colin Kaepernick. Why do we want any more parts? They said, oh, black man, you gonna kneel?
This is my interjection and this is my argument. Colin Kaepernick for the past 3 years has been training to be back on the field. So when does the protest end if he's not even committed to his own boycott?
But see, that's the thing, is that he for me doesn't have to be the end all be all.
Exactly.
But what I mean by that is, I don't
understand the attack on Jay-Z when the protests, everything that's going on in the NFL was not about Colin's job originally. It was about police brutality. And that's what we need to focus on. It is upsetting that Colin doesn't have a job if he's well and capable and athletically able
not to me
to be on a team.
Not in the NFL. You can't get a job. Let's start something else.
But
you are more than your body, Colin. You can do more.
But that's what he wants.
I don't.
And he's like, I'm mad at I don't want to say he because I haven't heard it from him. But let's just say I'm mad at everybody who's pro Jay-Z, but you're not mad at all your teammates, and you want to get back on this field working for the white man that you're mad at. And he was like, it wasn't even about the original. It wasn't even originally about the NFL. The NFL had nothing to do with police brutality. Sorry. The NFL had nothing to do with police brutality, right? This had nothing to do with the NFL, had nothing to do with the flag. This was about bringing attention because Colin said, I have a platform that other people don't have. I'm going to use my platform to create change, to raise awareness, and to get people in the know as to what's happening and that it's not going to be tolerated.
Right.
The NFL basically fired him, basically blackballed him. But that's what almost all companies do if you quote unquote embarrass them. And is it fair to say, oh, you embarrassed me by protesting or because of police brutality? Maybe the NFL, the commissioners, and these white owners, maybe they aren't okay with people being, murdered by police. But they're like, there are things there in their mind, and I think that this happens for a lot of people. There are things that you talk about at work, and there's things that you don't. It's like talking about religion and politics at work. It's things that you don't do. And I think for the NFL, I'm not defending them, but I'm making a point to say we have to look at it from all angles, and maybe that's the purpose of it. If I'm talking about police brutality at work, somebody's gonna be like, hey, Aisha, can we not have this conversation at work? And I'm fine with that because I don't care to talk to my coworkers about pretty much anything. But I don't know. I think that's fair for them not to want to have that conversation surrounding their business because they know that that's going to lose money. Is that okay? Is that socially right? No. Is that ethically right? No. Is that morally right? No. But so that's a business.
So then, if it's none of those things, then like not. And I know you're not saying it's okay, but I'm like, then what's the point? I mean, like how much of our freedom do we give up being down here?
Yeah, all
Earth?
Of it.
You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I'm like
even our lungs.
I'm like in my head, I'm like, you want to play football so bad that you're okay with the fact that they fired you, metaphorically lynched you. And you still want to catch a football that bad?
Yeah, he wants to play football.
That's wild to me. I don't fuck with it at all.
And
I'm sorry,
but the thing is, even after winning your settlement, should that not have been enough? And I don't know how much the settlement was, and I'm not saying that should be the trade-off. I don't get to have a career because you're mad at me. Like, you know, I'm not saying that it's fair, and I'm just trying to open up the floor and the doors to conversation because, again, you can only be so mad at Jay-Z if you still watch football.
I don't.
But you never did.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying,
that's not an effective boycott if you never watched it.
Yeah, but I also will, like, for me, for instance, but see, for me, I'm like, you know, I gave up R. Kelly for you people.
No, okay.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I gave up Chris Brown for you people, even though no other dark-skinned woman did. I gave up Chris Brown for you people. So when people are like, oh yeah, but you didn't watch the NFL before, and I wouldn't for you.
Yeah.
That's my point. Like, I'm like, you're like, for me, I'm like, this is literally preaching to the choir. Like, I'm like, fuck the NFL.
Yeah.
Fuck catching the football. How about y'all make your own shit? All these black people got all this money.
Yeah.
And we can't make our own NFL. It will take a while. But again, it's about, and Angela Davis said
but
this.
Because in this day and age, you can't even have an NAACP without white people in it. You're not going to be able to have a Negro League baseball team. You're not going to have a Negro League football team in 2019.
Yeah. But see, for me, I don't know if it's all about keeping it all black. I think it's just about black ownership.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, it's because it's like, if I own it and I have a black consciousness, then I can make something better here.
I don't know the richest black man on the planet or in the United States. All I know is Jay-Z, with my queen Beyonce, has $1 billion, and he cannot even afford to buy a team.
So why are we here? Why are we in the meeting?
If P motherfucking Diddy can't buy no football team, I don't know what black people can.
And that's my point. But that's what I'm saying. I don't want your NFL team.
Right.
I'll make my own shit. But it can't cost that much. Not as much as it will cost you to, like, how much does it cost to build a stadium?
A stadium?
Right.
Billions.
You think it's billions?
Yes. It's like $3 billion to buy a team and another $2 billion to buy a stadium.
Okay, so $5 billion. So again, if we all put our money together,
5 billionaires.
If we all put our money together, I think we could do it. If we all had the consciousness, if we all were like,
but it's also the faith in each other.
Yeah.
Which again, that's I don't want to say a self-hate problem, but it's an insecurity
Absolutely.
problem that we have.
But it comes from self-hate.
I just read an article that it was like, I want to say a brownstone, I could be wrong, but it was like 5 friends for 5 years put together $5 a week and ended up buying this business or brownstone or something together in New York. And I'm like, that is really dope. Can I think of that many people to do that with? Can I think of that many people to pool with? Can I think of that many people that I know we're still going to be friends in 5 years?
But see, then my answer to that would be, then you need to change your circle.
Yeah.
If you can't think of 5 people, then you need to change your circle. And that sounds harsh, but some things are just facts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even I had to swallow that pill. Somebody was saying, like, if you got 9 broke friends, I bet you the 10th one. And I was like, damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Change your circle.
I need some rich friends. Hit my DM.
You know, but I think you got to change yourself too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I need to be finding a way to richness. And whether that means I'm surrounding myself with other people who are really trying to find their way to richness, meaning you settled on your Honda over that Mercedes because that meant you could save more money. And buy a brownstone and make money work for you. Because again, I read this book that said a house is a liability. It's not a way of making you money. That costs you money. You know what I'm saying? Like, a car costs you money. And meanwhile, you making more money for Mercedes while you rolling around with 2 Mercedes symbols on the front and the back end of your car. It's all about making other people more money. And again, we don't do that with black business though. Oh, I don't want your black shirt. It don't make me feel human like this Givenchy shirt will. Those Louboutins make me feel human, but not your mail. Well, you know what I'm talking about? The lady that makes the bag you got me for graduation. What is it? Mail something?
Oh, Kingdom of Mel.
Yeah.
Kingdom of Melanin. Is
yeah. That I'm sorry. That don't make me feel as good. It don't make me feel as human. It don't make me feel as important. But it's all brainwashing. All of these are multifaceted issues. But yeah, I don't fuck with it at all. Like, I'm sorry. The NFL. What more does the NFL need to do? Take a black woman onto the stage at Super Bowl and rape her in front of us? What more can they do? They literally lynched this man, metaphorically speaking. So I'm like, I'm good.
They literally more metaphorically. But no, I get it. No,
I can't fuck with it. And like I said, there might be a plan. And I am okay with saying I was wrong. That don't bother me at all. But until I see Jay-Z owning a team and I see that team being black, but then again, I don't even want black boys playing football. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so many issues. Like why would I want my black son to go maybe get CTE? Because I want money so bad. Because we want fame so bad.
Like 95% chance.
You know what I'm saying? Like we want money so bad. Iyanla Van Zant said that we want status and to feel like somebody so bad that we'll trade our own daughters for it. And she was talking about it in the case of R. Kelly. Why the fuck would you let your daughter stay with a grown ass man you don't know? Because you wanted fame so bad. And that's not me coming for the parents. Because at the end of the day, I think again another multifaceted issue. Broken people, breaking people. We can go into that. That could be a whole nother tangent. But it's me coming back to the NFL. Why? I want fame so bad. Go risk your body, son. Instead of telling you, go own a team. But then again, I know you can't own a team because they're not going to let you. So why are we even here? Why are we in the boardroom? Let's all get up and fucking leave. They want us to go back to Africa bad anyway, right? Let's all go. I'm sick of this shit.
You know, I'm trying. Hey, if anybody is going to Africa, I know my people, they like to go in December. Can y'all bring me with you, please?
And
I want to go.
And I also wanted to say, like, because I did see, because Charlamagne had me there for a minute, because he was like, again, like you said, we protested. Okay, cool. What's the action? But that's my point. The action should be let's leave. Yeah. Because we've seen that work effectively. The bus system said, and it took a year. But that's my whole thing. We can't stop watching NFL for a year. That's how brainwashed, how much we don't give a fuck, how much we don't care, how uneducated we are on the situation. That we won't even not watch TV. Yeah. These people walked and their feet were bleeding for a year. Imagine walking to work every day because you can't get on the bus or you don't have a car. Because mind you, we're talking about a whole completely different pay scale back then. So people didn't own cars. If they had cars, they only had one, and maybe the husband took it. So, and it was women. It was us who was staying off the bus. We were the bus boycott. Black women. We think of black men, but it was black women. And so I'm like, we can't even not watch the fucking football game. Yeah. We can't even not listen to Chris Brown. Like we can't even not listen to R. Kelly. So when anybody says to me, oh yeah, but you know, NFL, no. I stopped listening to R. Kelly for you hoes. Meaning y'all better not watch the NFL.
But we have to respect people's time and their and their journey.
True.
Because not to just single you out, but just because you're my example, it took you a long time to stop listening to Chris Brown after you beat the dog shit out of several women.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's kind of just like something has to strike inside of people individually. And maybe it just hasn't been it yet. And it's unfortunate that police brutality isn't what strikes in you. But you have to respect people's journeys. And I think that whether you believe in what Jay-Z is doing or not, at the end of the day, we have a plethora of black NFL players. So if they haven't all quit, we have to find a way to still support our people. And I'm not saying if there's always going to be, if there's even one black player in the entire NFL, we have to keep watching NFL. But I just think that everybody has their journey in their own way. And if Colin still wants a job with the NFL, you can only be but so mad at Jay-Z trying to affect change in the communities that watch the NFL. At the end of the day, white people still gonna watch this shit. So how are we gonna make white people look in the mirror at themselves? Let's bring a seat up. I know it doesn't sound good to everybody. If you want to be a black person who brings a seat up to the table, you want your own table, sounds great, but that takes time. We at least have to pull a chair up to the table and say, look at all these things. Like, look at H&M, right? Let's take it back for a second. Coolest monkey in the motherfucking jungle, basically, is what that sweater said. Had there been a black person on a board anywhere in H&M, that probably would have happened, right? So let Jay-Z pull his seat up to the table, is from my perspective. Let him pull his seat up to the table so that we can affect some change somewhere. Jay-Z has never been a sellout. He's never led us astray. He's always working in the community, always donating his millions of dollars, right, to the thing. So I feel like for me personally, I want to give him a chance to see what he does with it. I used to religiously sit down and watch football games. Now I just be like, okay, can somebody tell me the highlights? Can y'all tell me if the Panthers won? Which they haven't. They've lost twice. But can y'all tell me if somebody's won, whatever. I try not to like sit down and actually give people my coins, and I don't pay to watch the channels or anything like that anyway. But, this is coming from, I don't want to say diehard, but pretty hardcore fan of football, like since I was a kid. So I think that things can be a journey sometimes. And I know, of course, boycotting everything at one time would be the best and probably most effective way to create change. But since we're not quite there yet, and we know that people, unfortunately, don't have the attention span like that anymore, let's at least be like, okay, we got somebody at the table that hopefully will have our back. And if Jay-Z becomes a part owner of anything, I'm sure Colin will get his tryout if that's what he really wants. I don't think that everybody's going to stop playing football, going to stop watching football.
Yeah. So my closing argument is why you pull your seat up at the table, set the table on fire. because fuck that table.
And you know what? He might. We gotta give him a chance. He might set that shit. He might start shaking the table.
And my second point and last point is I gave up R. Kelly for you hoes. So that's the nerve I'm trying to strike. Don't talk to me about shit because I can't listen to R. Kelly. That's all I gotta say. And won't listen to R. Kelly. I literally be at a party and be like, like, who is playing this R. Kelly in here? But you know what? I'm speaking out of a place of anger. Like, I get angry thinking about this kind of shit because I'm just like, at what point are we going to be done with this bullshit? But I understand completely that people do have a journey. But I'm at a point now where I'm just like, I hope that I'll be very, like, vocal about shit. Is this R. Kelly? I hope I start yelling that shit out. Is this Chris Brown?
No, I have a manager that has a playlist, right? And it's, like, old school music, like, all the time. Some white boy, he be playing, like, Lil Wayne and Sean Kingston and shit at work. And every once in a while, Ignition will come on. I'll be like, where's Kobe? Where's Kobe? Kobe, take this off of your playlist and stop playing it immediately. And so you'll just hear it in the middle of the restaurant. It'll change from Ignition to whatever the fuck, Beyonce or something. I'm like, yeah, turn that shit off. You know, if Aisha's working, that shit ain't playing up in here.
Right, that's how I feel.
Now, I might hum the little tune in my head because I like that song, but I ain't about to be giving you no coins, no spins, no streams, none of the things.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
I'll hum that bitch in my head. I'll hum I Believe I Can Fly in my head, but y'all ain't hearing me sing that shit. Y'all ain't getting no plays. None of that.
Yeah. And so again, I can't listen to I Believe I Can Fly. So I don't want to hear shit from nobody. I can't listen to fucking Honey.
You can't listen to a lot of shit because he wrote all of the things.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, if I can't hear R. Kelly, like, I used to listen to R. Kelly every day, you Thaddeanas. Like, that's how I feel. Like, so don't talk to me about shit. I had to give up R. Kelly for you hoes.
Amen. Okay. Well, let's move on because this was, honestly, my brain is hot right now.
I was getting hot.
Actually, and you know what? It's about to get hotter because we are moving on to Blank While Black. So, you know, my brain's cells are going to get even more boiling at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So kicking off Blank While Black.
All right. So as of Monday, Officer Daniel Pantaleo. Wow, thanks. Was fired from the NYPD and he will not receive his pension. So the departmental administrative judge recommended that he be fired, and the commissioner James O'Neill said that the decision wasn't easy because he had been in if he had been in Pantaleo's situation, he would have made similar mistakes. That's what the commissioner said. And I was like, okay, so pause. First of all, you know, hand claps and snaps for him being fired. I think that it made the family happy. I think that it is the least we can do, even just for safety issues. But when the commissioner said that, I was just, and he was an officer, I think he said for 34 years. When he said it, I was like, why does it feel like you are, like, why did you have to say this was a hard decision? Like, it just felt like you were putting pins.
He said in quote, I've thought about this for 5 years. And we can go into that in a second, but go ahead.
Yeah, like, it just felt like, I read Mark Lamont Hill say that Malcolm X said that progress is not putting a knife in someone's back and then pulling it out an inch. That's how I felt. Like, it was like, I felt like everything I read from his statement just made me feel like how I would feel if someone were pulling a knife out of my back inch by inch. Like, and this was a hard decision. Pulls a knife out an inch. I'm just like, well, why? And
thought about it for 5 years. Pulled it out a fifth of an inch.
And he said, like, he felt pressures from all sides. And then he said that
sounds very Donald Trumpy.
He if he were a police officer, he wouldn't be happy. I was like, pull the knife out another inch. Shut your ass up and just tell us that he's fired and bye. Like, and in my head again, like, I'm trying. I read this book that said, seek first to understand and then to be understood. So I'm really trying to calm my nerves down. But in my head, I'm just like, shut the fuck up and just say he's fired and leave. Like, and then, like, another part of the article said that he said that nobody's a winner today. Not Officer Pantaleo, not the family.
Well, you know what?
And I was like, how do you get to tell me who's a winner? Shut your ass. I didn't ask you for all this, sir. Did I pay you for that? No. Be quiet and just read. And then he kept having to say that, like, they were saying in the article that he kept saying that, oh, the departmental administrative judge recommended that I fired him. So you're fired, but it was recommended by somebody else.
He also was like, it's 100% my decision what happens with disciplinary actions. And the reason he wasn't fired before is because it was all these trials. So I think he's the same person, basically recommended that they wait until all the trials were over, I guess, to see what came about of that, which is stupid as fuck because at the end of the day, you use an illegal chokehold that was banned in like 93. So I don't even know why we had a trial, but anyhow, it took you 5 years to come to the conclusion that somebody should be quote unquote fired, which is not justice, but okay, let's give you that. But also in Sounds About White, People have raised, so his annual salary, it's New York City, so of course it's way more expensive than, it's going to sound like a lot of money, but it's not. His annual salary was like $97,000. People have started a GoFundMe for him and have raised $100,000.
So black people, it's time for you to spark some consciousness. And like, why don't we do this shit? Why are white people so...
No, but let me be fair to our people and our conscious people, of course. People do this.
Right, true.
For Eric Garner's family, lots of money was raised, right? From individuals who are like, this is not okay, right? So we do it, but I mean, when you're 14% of the population, we can only do it so much as well as white people. But it's just like, wow, racism is rich, right? Racism is so rich that you have raised money for George Zimmerman. You have raised money for Daniel Pantaleo. You raise money. Lots of fucking money. More money than most people see in a year. $100,000 for some fucking murder asshole. Yeah, so shout out to...
And so now he's going to live like a king.
Yeah, so in Blank While Black, what do we call
Which
this?
reminds me of Emmett Till, the Death of Innocence written by Mamie Till Mobley or Mamie Till Bradley. She said that they paid them to tell the story to that magazine, the two people who murdered her son. And she was like, and having to basically kind of internalize that as they got paid for killing my son. This man used an illegal chokehold. That if I read the article correctly, if I'm quoting it correctly, the coroner said that the chokehold he used led to other situations that led to his death. Meaning that chokehold caused his asthma attack, which caused him to die. So you killed this man.
And not only that, but there is going to be no disciplinary actions taken for anybody else.
Oh, you're talking about the other police officers?
Yeah. And it's like, well, one had his knee and his scalp pressing him into the ground while he already cannot breathe. You talk about resisting arrest? You mean when I'm being mauled by 4 human beings and literally being choked to the point I cannot breathe? I don't know how still people can stay when they can't breathe. Have you ever seen a fish out of water? How still can you stay when you're being murdered?
Yeah.
Like, it's bullshit. Oh, well, if he would just comply, then black people would live. All this bullshit. Like, I just want to slap fire out of everybody's ass who says dumbass shit like that. And I'm like, if you've never had a gun pointed in your face, then bitch, don't tell me how to feel, how to react, how to comply, or how my tone should sound when I feel like I'm about to be murdered. Yeah. I'm sorry. If I get killed, is somebody gonna be like, well, at least she had a nice tone? Are you fucking kidding me?
Right. Yeah, no, it's wild. And yeah, so I just wanted to say, like, every time the more I read the article, I was just like, is it me or is this just like really an insult? Like, is this like kind of like when they wanted to put Harriet Tubman on the 20, but they were gonna keep Jefferson on the back?
Yeah.
And he owned slaves.
Yeah.
And would say shit like,
Fuck
I
yeah.
definitely don't believe in slavery.
Yeah.
But never freed any of his slaves.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what kind of backhand announcement is this shit?
Yeah.
Yes, he is fired. But it's because the judge recommended it. Like, they kept saying, like, the article was saying, like, he kept on saying, like, he had to repeatedly say it was recommended by the judge. It was recommended by the judge.
He should be charged with murder, and everyone around him should be charged with accessory to murder. Period.
Apparently,
there's supervisors, other officers, people standing there watching somebody be killed. If you're resisting, even if he is resisting, he has no weapons. What could you have done? Tased him, pepper sprayed him, anything. If it was that, which I don't believe in those things anyway, but still, if this was such a threat to your imminent safety, you could have done a number of other things.
Yo, the justice system.
One person.
Yeah, the justice system and how in which we like divvy out justice is so wild to me, because like even I was out watching Orange is the New Black. The lady who was trying to fight her immigrant case was saying like, man, I hope we go up in front of the judge after lunch. You know, like the judge conviction rate is like 20% less after lunch because they ate and they're fed and they're happy. So I'm like, if we have all this human flaw in shit, if it's more likely for me to give out more convictions between 11 and 12 because I have not eaten, we probably shouldn't have human beings doing this shit. Like when he said, oh yeah, if I had been in his shoes, I probably would have did the same thing. This is why when the Panthers say things like the community should police themselves and you go, oh my God, that's crazy. This is worse. How is this working? This is effective. Mm-hmm. This is the best we can come up with. And we're supposed to be the greatest minds on the planet.
Hot. Like my temperature is hot.
It's wild to me. Like, so I brought the Orange is the New Black up to show like just how flawed this shit is. Like, this is the best we can do. The best we can do is throw away people for life. The best we can do is it taking 208 years before women will be paid equally to men. The best we can do is chokeholds that are banned, because if I had been in his shoes, I probably would have did the same thing. Is a 34-year-old officer saying some shit like that? That's the best we can do. And you don't believe in community policing? Everybody, if you have not listened to Mark Lamont Hill, he has an interview on YouTube with Vlad TV. It's a like 40-minute video. He talks about a lot of different things, including like abolishing prisons and why he believes in it, community policing and why he believes in that. Please go listen to it, because he's very articulate, very dope, very intelligent, very well read, reads 4 books a month, 4 books a week type of guy. And I was just like, I'm like, how can I argue with this if this is the best that we can do otherwise, and we have not tried it the other way? How do you have an argument? And Kalia said something about, I don't argue with people who don't read, and I'm like, honestly,
okay, 5 snaps for that one.
Honestly, like, bro, this is the best we can do.
Yeah,
that's my only question.
I'm not arguing nobody who don't even educate themselves. So in Blank While Black, you cannot be choked while black. Moving on, my Blank While Black, have 2 to talk about. A Texas junior high school student came to school with a haircut that had like a design in it, right? So the school's policy was that hair has to be neat, clean, cannot have mohawks, cannot have spikes, or any other distracting hairstyles, including carvings. Whatever the fuck carvings are, because we ain't no goddamn pumpkins. So this student gets a haircut on the 16th of April last year, returns to school on the 17th of April, and is pulled out of like the cafeteria. It was like breakfast time. Pulls out of the cafeteria and told by administration that he can either take ISS in school suspension for having this haircut that he's not allowed to have, or he can color it in with a black Sharpie. The boy did not color in his hair. He chose the Sharpie because he's a 13-year-old child, first of all. He chose a Sharpie because he's never been suspended before, and he's an athlete, and he didn't want a suspension on his record. So he goes to the office, and I believe it was the assistant principal, or he was the assistant principal at the time. I think he's currently the actual principal. So the assistant principal, the disciplinary clerk, and a teacher colored in this boy's scalp without calling the parents, colored in the boy's scalp with a black fucking Sharpie, because of course black people have black skin. Colors in with black Sharpie. The boy gets off the bus, goes home to his mom and says, "Mom, look what they did to my head." The mother was never called. The father was never called to ask if their son should be suspended, go home for the day, go shave his head the rest of the way, whatever. Because the mom said, had I known, I would have pulled him out of school, gone to cut his hair the rest of the way down, and called it a day. I would not have allowed my child to have a black Sharpie colored on his head. The lawsuit that the family has filed against the school district and against the people involved said that these teachers laughed while coloring in his scalp, and were like, oh my God, it actually made it worse because obviously this boy's skin is not black like white people like to think. We are not black. We don't blend in with this microphone stand here. So yeah, you cannot have a haircut while black. The mother said that days later, she posted pictures, days after they colored in this baby's scalp, the Sharpie has still not come off. Like washing his hair and all that, scalp is still there. A 13-year-old child in junior high, like think about just how embarrassing this is that you had to go to the principal's office, get your scalp colored by adults who should, I don't know, have some brain cells and know better. Yeah. They were white. And now also has to go to school for the next couple days with Sharpie on his scalp. 13-year-old child. So yeah, that was in Texas. That's the fucking, I've literally read that article like 70 times, and I went from like anger to laughing like shit. Like, these motherfuckers were laughing while coloring in a baby's scalp, and then had the nerve to say, damn, it didn't even color it in. Huh, who knew? It actually just made it more prominent. Well, duh, you motherfucking dumbass. And then the school's only response was, oh, our bad, and let's change the policy. They took out the word carvings. And so the parents are suing, but they were basically like, okay, an apology is cool, but bruh, like, y'all need some education. Y'all need to be educating yourselves on like black hairstyles and the culture of black hair. You can't just be, first of all, making these racist ass rules that you can't have a design in your head. At the end of the day, if your rule is it needs to be clean, it's not obscene, it's not a gang sign, if those are the rules at the end of the day, the child followed all those rules. Like, it's clean, it's neat. Obviously, he spends more money on his hair than most of them students at that school. If he had a fresh ass cut on a Tuesday and y'all colored it in with a Sharpie, first of all, y'all had been running me my coins because I'm sure that was a smooth $30, $40. Y'all had been running me my coins. Second of all, I'm putting my baby on the news crying about how y'all did this shit because I am coming for all y'all's heads.
Texas, same state where they just let that man through the street.
Oh, yeah, Texas. And you know what? I wanted to live there so bad, but I don't feel like being drawn on with a Sharpie or being drugged by a horse.
Yeah, that whole story is stupid. Like, I was just like, this is dumb.
The
like, and mind
dumbest
you,
shit.
again, as educators, y'all don't got better shit to do than all get together on your break time and coloring a child's
Coloring
hair.
black kids' hair.
And laugh.
You put a chemical on my baby's scalp,
Right.
I'm kicking your ass.
Right,
period.
right. And mind you, I was sitting here like, you know what? I try to be very, not passive. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, not like when you don't fight. What's that word?
Non-confrontational?
No, not non-confrontational. A pacifist. I'd be like, oh, pacifist, the pacifist in me. And then I hear shit like that, and I'd be like, you know what? All I saw in my head was me going in there and turning over desks and being like, which one of you hoes?
Yeah, and his parents are like, apologies, cool. Like, even money would be cool. But you know what's more important? That this doesn't happen to another kid. Y'all need some training. Y'all need some cultural training.
I don't even think,
that's all they're asking. When Aisha Damali, would be asking for blood. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, in my head, I'm like, and this is the one time I'm like, not even like, I normally try to think of, other children. In this one particular case, I think like I would have been so red and seeing red that I probably wouldn't even have thinking about else's child. Like, because again, you didn't even call me. How did you not call me?
And like she said, I'm like, okay, well, how could we have rectified the situation? I know that, if you go to school in an outfit that's not appropriate, you don't have a change of clothes, they're going to put you in ISS as, okay, you're here for the day. Tomorrow, come back with different clothes, right? Maybe you didn't have to put suspension on his label or anything, but regardless, if you're going to suspend somebody's child, if you're going to do anything with my child, if I know my child is supposed to be in Miss Sanders' class from 10 to 2, then I should know if you took him out of Miss Sanders' class and put him in ISS. Because if something happens to my baby, I need to know where he was.
And not even that, but for
so
me.
If you were going to choose into-school suspension, I should have been called. If you were going to choose the color on my baby's scalp, I should have been called because that shouldn't have never fucking happened.
Right.
But why would you give a 13-year-old child the choice? What color on your scalp with a permanent marker? And you know what? I was like, we need to get on living room Twitter because I need to tweet Sharpie and say, excuse me, Sharpie, do you have something to say? Because I need them to tweet, excuse me, we do not condone our products, our chemicals being used on black children's scalps.
And your scalp
just so y'all know.
is like, I don't know. I haven't studied the body in that way, but I'm like, it's got to have a lot of like.
People get cancer for putting chemicals on their head, whether that be relaxers or hair color. You put chemicals on your scalp, bleach, all that shit. That shit is sleeping into your brain. Your skin is your largest organ. It's going to absorb chemicals. You fucking dumbasses.
And right, and then I'm like, and y'all are teachers. And then the same thing with like the whole suspension thing. Then here comes another like multifaceted argument. Black children are more likely to be suspended. Black boys are more likely to be suspended. And I'm like, so what you're telling me is that we have 8 hours a day to educate, like, because you already know I think education in America is trash. But so let's say we got 8 hours in a day to educate these children 5 days a week. And we already feel like we're rushed trying to put everything in there. Mm-hmm. We already don't talk about black history, Asian history, women history. We already don't talk about that shit. And I'm going to put you in ISS. Take you out of the learning environment because you got a line cut in your hair. Mm-hmm. And it ain't a swastika. It ain't a Confederate flag. Okay. It's a line.
And I went to a school where kids wear Confederate flag t-shirts every motherfucking day.
And y'all not, because again, here we go with why racism is still an issue. Because if people are wearing Confederate flags, that's distracting me. But they get to sit in class. Why? Because they're white. But this black boy got a part cut in his hair with a little swivel, with a little something. Go to ISS. Yeah. You miss a whole day of learning.
And again, learning, or I can draw on you with Sharpie, humiliate you because it started at breakfast, humiliate you for the rest of the day with all your peers. So now that you can get
because now you're
bullied,
a distraction.
Now you're gonna get bullied, and you're an actual distraction because you're not fucking black as Sharpie. These people have lost their goddamn rabbit ass, Caucasus Mountain ass minds.
I was like, this don't make sense because again. And at a minimum, you should have called me because again, if the key to upward mobility in our country is education, and I'm this child's parent, I'm gonna go. Let me do what I need to do. Mind you, don't take my child.
That's what she said. She said, had I known,
but even then, that's still.
I would have simply came and got his haircut.
It's to me.
I wouldn't have because I already spent $40 on your goddamn haircut, and you gonna wear it till it grows out.
That's not it for me. For me, it's no. My child is not missing school. Yeah. I'm gonna come up to school and sit next to my child in class, and we're gonna learn all day today. I'll miss work. and we're going to learn all day, and then I'll get the haircut fixed tomorrow. It's a fucking haircut, and it is not gang related. It's not offending anybody. It's a little swivel. Mind you, if you can't keep your kids focused off of hair swivel, then we are doing something wrong education wise. Mm-hmm. We are applying this education the wrong way. If I'm so boring up here talking to your ass that you looking at his haircut all class. And mind you, kids are on their phones anyway. Like, there's so much other shit going on distracting children other than haircuts that aren't gang related and offensive. So I'm like, please shut your ass up. This is stupid.
Let me tell you about offensiveness, okay? Let me tell you about whiteness. For most of my school career, I went to white schools. When I was 12, 13 years old, and I was in 7th grade, we had a project for my English class in which a white boy came to class in blackface, performed his report. And when he sat down, before everybody performed that day. And right before we walk out the door, I heard the teacher say, "Hey, Matthew, you need to go wash your face and you need not to wear that to school again." But she let him do his report. He got his grade. He sat through the whole class. I, as a black student, I really didn't know what it meant because I was a child. But I, as a black student, sat next to him all class and thought, this is weird seeing this white boy wearing a black face talking about black history in our English class. I didn't know what to feel besides confused and uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. That wasn't a distraction. He didn't get his face drawn on with white out.
Right. Right. Like, so it's racially motivated. Like, we would be like, don't make it a race issue.
White
How
people
can I not?
can sit in class with blackface, okay? And black kids cannot have haircuts. So blank while black, don't get a haircut while black. Shout out to Black August being fucked up per usual. Okay, so blank while black. 4 black high school students were going door to door to raise money for their football team in Arkansas. And after they knocked on the door of Jerry Kelly, were faced with a gun, made to lie down on the ground until the police came because this woman was, quote unquote, scared for her life. That these 4 black kids have come to knock on her door. Mind you, they're carrying like discount cards that they're selling to raise money for their school, for their football team. And 2 of the 4 students are wearing their school football jerseys. But this woman decided to greet them with a gun, make them lie down until the cops came. Not only that, her husband is a jail administrator. And she was arrested like 5 days later. Almost a week later that this woman has pulled a gun on minors was she finally arrested. And allegedly by now they have skipped town, her and her husband. But this nutty ass bitch, Jerry Kelly.
Machine Gun Kelly?
Yeah, basically. Bitch, what were you thinking? I have questions about your marbles. Where are they?
And again, it's all about race and blackness and how, again, mind you, because you know what's crazy? It's kind of like when I was talking last week about that black man being led by horse by rope. Like, I can't be but so angry because I don't know what kind of education you've been given. With this particular situation, I'm like, this is what they have taught you to fear. Were they black boys?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, of course. So to her, they probably look like grown-ass men.
They were between the ages of 15 and 16. They were like juniors raising money for their football
team. To her look like grown-ass men. Mm-hmm. And so, oh my God, it's 3 grown-ass black men who love to rape white women on my lawn. That's what white people have been trained to see.
These kids lived within 2 blocks because they were going around in their own communities, knocking on doors, asking their neighbors to help raise money for their football team. And this nutty-ass 46-year-old grown-ass woman was that intimidated by 15-year-old children trying to raise money for their football team.
But that's what I'm saying. She probably did not see them as children. She probably did not. She saw them as grown. Again, because you got to think about Birth of a Nation. We were just talking about this in class the other day. That movie made the KKK look like the heroes because they killed the wild black rapist in the movie. The antagonist in that movie was the black man as a rapist because he wanted so badly to rape this white woman, and they made the KKK out to be the protagonist. Birth of a Nation came out in 1915. It was played in the White House. The president at the time, I can't remember his name exact, so I don't want to misquote, said it was the greatest thing pretty much ever in cinema type shit. So I'm like, this is what y'all have been taught to see. Think about it. The most popular shows on television are Power, about a black drug dealer, and Empire, about a black drug dealer turned musician. Like, so we have this racist media who informs people who don't hang around, be around black people. So she probably saw them as grown-ass black men who were trying to rape her. They were going to gang rape her. That's probably what she thought in her head. Oh, my God.
So the kids
OMG.
were going around the neighborhood, right, that they live in, within 2 blocks, went to knock on a door. A dog chased them, right? So the 4 boys, they run off because they're being chased by a dog. Most people run when they're being chased by dogs. They ran to the back of the truck. The owner was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. My dog is friendly, whatever." They're like, "Oh, okay, whatever." They laughed about the situation, walked up to Miss Kelly's house. this bitch Kelly's house, knocked on her door, and she said in her statement, all the males were African American, and I know this residence to be white. She had already noticed that a dog ran them off from another home, and she said the teenagers did not appear to be knocking on any doors. And she noted that she had been a victim of home invasion before. That was her quote.
And, black people are the only people who commit home invasion, so this must be the people who robbed me.
She also said, I drew my weapon without my finger on the trigger, as I've previously been trained to do. Like I said, her husband works as a jail administrator. She told me, one of the boys quoted in his statement, she told me to stop moving or she will shoot me. Because she had them laying on the fucking ground. Yeah, so so she's been charged with 4 counts of assault, endangering minors, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just like, bitch, do I fucking know your finger ain't in the motherfucking trigger? You put a gun, a lethal weapon, in my motherfucking face. You know this residence to be white? Well, I'm sorry, Susan. First of all, you don't look like you walk very much, so I doubt you've walked around your neighborhood. But had you have done that, you would have seen maybe some black children within 2 blocks of your neighborhood. Yeah. I don't even know how you got arrested 5 days later, because again, as a parent, I would have came to kick your motherfucking ass and given you a reason to be afraid of home invasion. And I know y'all's white Jesus says turn the other cheek, but fuck that. Fuck what y'all talking about. I'm not doing that. I don't give a fuck if I got to die in the meantime. Your ass is getting kicked for threatening my baby. Period. He's trying to raise money for his fucking football team because obviously, bitch, you ain't so well off that you live in a neighborhood whose taxes can't pay for motherfucking uniforms for kids in high school. So they have to come ask you personally, hey, will you buy this coupon book so that we can raise money so we can have uniforms? And you put a fucking gun in my face and you said, well, my finger wasn't on the trigger. Well, how about I just kick your ass and don't put my whole foot in your asshole and then you'll be fine. Mm-hmm. So yeah, blank while black. Don't be a child playing for a football team trying to do a fundraiser. Don't try to do a fundraiser while black.
Yep. All right. Well, Sexpectations.
Oh, God, y'all don't know how much I lose. I lose iron. Honest to God, I lose iron in my blood talking about blank while black.
I've lost everything. I don't even know how I'm supposed to go about the rest of my day.
Honestly,
what a shitty.
Happy Black August. God damn.
All right. Well, Sexpectations. I think it might be best for you to ask your question so you can have a little break.
Okay. This is gonna stress me out too.
We need to namaste. Namaste.
I know. I'm about to take my shoes off and do some grounding.
We should just do
here.
We should do a what is it called when people eat on microphone?
A mukbang?
A mukbang.
Fuck
we should do
no.
a whole mukbang podcast so we can all de-stress.
Bitch, there's nothing nastier than hearing somebody eat.
People like that.
No,
it makes them relax.
It makes me sad. I'm like, bitch, you got your microphone on 1,000. I don't want to have to hear you swallow. Ugh. Gross. So Sexpectations. It's I feel like easy enough question, but I feel like we're going to tangent about it. Oh, I love Sydney's face when I say I have a question for her. Mm-hmm. Sydney, would you date someone with children?
Yeah. You know what? A long time ago, I said that I would never. Well, no. Let me say I said I never. I didn't say I would never, but I was like, I don't have children. I want to date somebody that doesn't have children because then we can have children together.
And now you realize you're an old hag?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And and I remember watching the game when Melanie was gonna marry Derwin, and then he was like, "Oh my God, I got Janae pregnant," and da-da-da-da.
Yeah, fuck no.
And I was like, "Oh my God, no!" Like she was like, "Oh my God, it's so ruined. Like I wanted to have your first child. You're already gonna experience that without me." Da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But now I don't want children.
Mm-hmm.
Number one,
right?
And when people try to tell me like, "Oh, that'll change," I'm like, just listen to this whole podcast and then ask me again at the end if you think I want kids.
Mm-hmm.
The Amazon is on fire. If I have a black boy, he gonna get a gun pulled on him because he's gonna look like a grown ass black man.
He might have a haircut. He might be trying to do a fundraiser. I don't want any children.
Good on that. Might have a black girl, but rape by police officers, just all kind of horrible things. So I'd be like, nah, I'm good. So say it to say, I was like, now my mentality on it has changed because I was like, if I don't want children and you do, and you have children, I think that kind of kills kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Like, okay, good. I don't have to have one. You got one. Great. We're good. But then at the same time, I'm like, but do I really want to raise a child? I think I'm good.
Yeah, because you're still going to take on that same stress that you just talked about not wanting for your own children.
Yeah. So say that to say, I guess I don't really know the answer to that question. But now, I mean, and honestly, why have a child if we're all just going to be dead by 2050 anyway? So I guess no. I guess I would not because I don't want any children. I really just wanted to be like, they call it the terrible twos when it's just you and your husband. I heard that on Sex and the City.
Okay.
And they're like, yeah, it's the terrible twos. And they were saying, like, because it was Kerry Washington and they were saying, like, it was a couple at the table. And they were like, you don't want to have kids? And she's like, and then she was like, nah. And the lady looked at her so sad and was like, so it's just going to be y'all two?
Yeah,
and in my head, I'm like, I'm okay with that.
I'm so good on having kids.
good.
You know how many fucking kids there are in the world? We got plenty.
Or even adopting. Like, why have another one? You could adopt. But, again, we are so selfish and we're so about me that I got to have my own baby because I'm me.
I look like as a baby. Well, bitch, look at your baby pictures.
Right.
God damn.
So, yeah, and that's no shade to anybody. If you want kids, that's great. I think I'm good on it. So, I think, I don't want to date nobody with kids. I don't think I'm straight. At this point, I'm like, do I even want to date anybody? I hate people.
Do I want to date anyone at all? They're going to be dead in 2050. Why do
Yeah. What's the point? So, yeah. I think my answer is nah.
Okay.
What's your answer? Nah?
Short term. Yeah. I mean, I think I don't want kids.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really care to take care of your badass kids. I told somebody one time that I wouldn't date somebody with kids because I don't care to. Well, for one, I don't want kids. I personally do not want children of my own or of yours. I don't want children. I don't want to raise kids. I'm good on that love. But I told somebody I didn't want to do kids because I didn't want to deal with baby mamas either. And they were like, what does that have to do with me? Like, how can you say every baby mama relationship is bad? First of all, they had already told me that it was. But they were like, that's so basically stereotypical. And I was like, as a child who, dealt with a baby mama, baby daddy situation, I don't want to be a part of that. And they were like, well, that's projecting your situation on other things. Okay, but that's my experience.
Right.
So I can only project my experience because that's what I know.
Right.
That would be naive of me to say, oh, it's going to be glitter and glam, even though I know it not to
from
be
experience.
personally.
Yeah, and mind you, you definitely, I believe you definitely have to keep in like a grip on the fact that your experience is not all experiences. So yeah, you can have a good experience. Like when people say that, I have had that same experience. My father had multiple baby mamas. From my understanding, they didn't get along, and I think that hindered our relationship as the children. And it's like, think about it like this. Now I will never have. To me, I don't think I'm ever going to have the relationship that my sisters have with each other with them because they were raised together. Yeah. Y'all share so many different things that I'm never going to be able to share with you. Even if you go through something now, it's still not going to be it's not going to be the same as what you went through at 16 when y'all were together and y'all helped each other out when I'm over here doing my own thing as being raised as an only child because my dad couldn't just procreate with one woman.
Yeah. And I'm not unrealistic. I don't think that any happy household only has to have one mom and one dad and all the kids have to look alike and everybody, I'm not unrealistic like that. I just personally don't want no kids. Yeah. And me finding myself, I am selfish and that's okay. Yeah. And we'll talk about that later, but I am selfish. I also having to had experienced these things, I would never keep my children from their parent and I would hope no man would choose me over their children. Yeah. And I wouldn't want a man to choose me over their children. 100%. If you got a day off, you don't need to take me shopping. Although that's what I need in my relationship. Right. You don't need to take me shopping. You need to be taking your babies to Monkey Joe's.
And if you don't want to come second to anything, that's your choice.
That is 100% my choice, especially as a person who doesn't have children. I don't have to come second to shit.
Right. So it's like, so I completely get it. It's if you can have a preference to keep black women out your section, then you can have a preference of I don't want to date nobody with no kids.
I will say if it's would you, I will say I don't know. Yeah. Because again, I'm an old hag. I'm not unrealistic to think that a 30-year-old man that I meet is not gonna have children, although it's possible. My man don't, so I'm good so far so good, but I would say I'm not a closed-minded person, but I have absolutely no interest. It's kind of like your question about dating out, or my question about dating outside your race. Do I want to? No. Would I? I guess I couldn't say because you never fucking.
That's why every time I answer any question, I be like, on paper,
gray. I'm in the gray.
On gray paper. You know what I mean?
On gray paper, I'm all about that. But yeah, I do not want to date somebody with kids. I would like to have my own experience, as I'm sure most people do that end up dating with or marrying or having even more kids with somebody who already has kids. I think everybody in their mind, that sounds good. Just like, oh, it sounds good that I'm going to get married first and then XYZ. Like, things sound good, but you never know what's going to happen in your life. But I'm good on that.
Yeah, I'm good. And that's the same thing. It's kind of like you got to, for me, there's a quote I remember from one of my favorite movies, and it was like, you got to know whether the juice is worth the squeeze. And for me, I'm like, yeah, you might absolutely get into a relationship with, and it be a good relationship, a symbiotic relationship between you and that baby mama.
Who is and a man who is a great father.
Yeah.
And that you do come second, but he still makes you feel like a priority at the same time. That may happen. Never seen it. But God bless.
So that's my thing. I'm like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the possibility of me being the nicest, greatest person I can be, because you can only meet people where they're at. Mm-hmm. I could be the greatest stepmom to this child ever, and this woman can still hate my guts, still give me hell for no reason at all, other than the fact that I'm now dating the man that she still loves, or whatever the fuck is going on. She wanted this happily ever after, and it didn't happen, so now I'm standing in the way of it. Kind of like, and this is how you know shit be crazy and how people view the world. People were sending Karuchi death threats. People in the Navy were allegedly sending her death threats because she was dating Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Like, that's the type of shit people do, and that's how
Rihanna's
people
like, bitch, I don't even want the nigga no more.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I could literally be the greatest person ever, treat the child like a queen, a king, a prince, a princess, and she could still be like, I don't give a fuck. As soon as I see you, I'm cussing you out. Okay. I'm beating your ass on sight.
You can be the biggest, brightest, sweetest, fuzziest peach, and there's gonna be a bitch out here who don't like peaches. It is what it is.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm good. I'm good altogether. And the same thing even with people like, oh, do you want children? You would make a great parent. I'm sure that's what Tokyo Tony thought. Like, I'd be like, I'm sure somebody said that to her.
Oh my damn, hell yeah! Somebody was like, "You gonna be a good ass mommy." Somebody gave her a card at her baby shower, I bet.
Right, and then look at what the fuck we just had to witness. Because when I see shit like that, I'd be like, "Why did you have children?" Like, she told her daughter. She said, "I'm sorry, she didn't tell her. It was a clip, and she's in the car, and she's like, I don't care if you kill yourself." Mm-hmm. I'm like, huh? So,
and then somebody was like, well, that's how we talk in Baltimore. I was like, well, I hope to God I never meet somebody from Baltimore. Right. But I ain't never heard Jada say no shit like that. Ain't that where she from?
Right. Sheesh. All right. Well, my sexpectation question is, do you care to know about your partner's dating history? Or do you ask?
I've never asked. Do I care? I don't think so. Mm-hmm. No. I mean... my boyfriend from another state, so I wouldn't know any of them hoes any motherfucking way. And then boyfriends from here in North Carolina, yeah, no, I don't. I've never once been like, did you date so and so, or how many girlfriends have you had, or how many bodies you got under that nutty ass dick you got? I ain't never asked that, and I don't think I care.
No, I more so meant like the things they did, like like
if they were engaged. Somebody asked me if that would bother me if my man was engaged before. And I was like, no.
Yeah, that wouldn't bother me either. I don't know. I think it's an ownership thing.
Yeah, people are weird. They're like, I want to be the first. Well, bitch, you're going to have to be a virgin till you die then if you want to be anybody's first anything.
Yeah, so, but I'm not more so like, oh, how many girls have you dated? How many people have you slept with? But more so kind of like, what was the relationship like? What was the negative? What could you have done better? Those kind of things. Or no, you don't ask those
I think like
either.
if I heard he raped somebody, or if that, he was violent against his girlfriend or something, that might be important. I'm not going to probably ask you that. I'm not going to, hey, have you ever beat a woman before? Mm-hmm. But I mean, I think the conversations you have with people let you know who they are. Mm-hmm. If you watching a TV show, somebody gets hit and you be like, whew, if my nigga hit me, I beat his ass down to the ground and he don't look shook over there. I mean, if he looks shook, I'd be like, he looks shook. Maybe he has beat a woman or something. Like, I don't know. I don't think I would ever ask, because I really don't give a fuck about people's relationships with other people in that way.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, that sums that up.
All right. Sexpectations.
Sexpectations.
So, yeah. Would y'all date somebody with kids? Have you? Do you? How's that going? And do you care about your partner's dating history?
Yes, ma'am. All right. So, black on black support.
Black on black support.
Mine is quick.
Okay.
I supported a black teacher.
Hey.
His name is Carlos.
Hey.
I don't know if he wants his last name put out there, so I'm just gonna say Carlos.
Okay.
We went to high school and ECU together, and he's now a teacher. And I took the advice that you had from the last podcast,
Hope
like
y'all
supporting a
to
teacher.
The last podcast.
And I gave some money, and he went and got some tablets and some Band-Aids and some crayons and some good stuff. And he was like, Band-Aids, you'd be surprised.
I was just about to say, isn't that crazy that a teacher has to buy Band-Aids? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Teachers have to do it all.
Yeah.
God bless. God bless teachers.
So, yeah, that's my black on black support.
Nice.
That was quick and easy.
Okay.
So, yeah, said it to say thank you for inspiring me to do that. And shout out to Carlos for allowing me to be the vehicle with which I did that. Yeah. Good luck this semester, and good luck to your students. And let me know if you need anything else so I can support the kids. Yeah. I want to donate black books, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, I did that last year. We definitely, we could put that together. Yeah. Black on black support from me goes to a young woman named Sierra. Went to college with her. She is like a really just dope yogi and really cool person to follow on Instagram. Her name is celestial_consciousness. But I saw her post that she was doing a beach cleanup, And because she was just walking on the beach, saw a bunch of trash, started cleaning it up, blah, blah, blah. Happened to have a black trash bag with her, but she was like, I want to start doing a beach cleanups on a regular basis. She's like, I plan on doing one for my birthday in September. And she's like, I'm purchasing reusable burlap sacks to collect the trash in. So, of course, you can keep reusing them. You don't keep throwing away one-time use plastic, those trash bags. So if you want to help her, I believe she's in Florida. So meet up with her in Florida to help her with that in September. Go follow her page and maybe DM her and ask her about that. Or if you cannot, you can always DM her for her Cash App and send $5 to help buy the burlap sacks that she's going to hand out, and people help clean up the beach. Y'all, we have one planet. Let's take care of it for the next, how many years have we got, Sid? 30? Got 30 years left on the planet. Please keep it clean until then.
Oh, sheesh.
All right, back to school season. So I want to shout out to Octavia. We went to college together. She is finishing up dental school. Well, starting into dental school officially. She has 4 years left. She's going to East Carolina University Dental School of Medicine. So yeah, she'll be done in 4 years. So y'all make sure we're all ready in 4 years with our insurance companies, and can go give her the coins that she deserves to work in our mouths. Okay, having a black dentist is the fuck lit, by the way. I have a black female dentist, and she's a shit. I think her name is Dr. Michelle, something like that. But she's awesome. Also want to shout out to my baby sister. She just started college at the Citadel in South Carolina Military College. So God bless her. Y'all send her lots of prayers and uplifting thoughts, because they got to wear uniforms and not date and all kinds of crazy rules because it's a military college. So God bless. But I'm really proud of her. I'm really happy for her. I know our dad would be very, very proud of her. Absolutely. So good luck at school, sissy. And a big shout out to Razan. Razan is just the shit. She's the recipient of a Bill Gates scholarship, and she has just been doing the things. Okay, she's gonna be, well, I thought she was gonna be a forever student, because why not? Very, very intelligent young woman. I'm so proud of her. I admire her so much. But she is doing cancer research in New York City. She just got a new job, so I'm really excited for her.
I didn't see that. Congrats.
Yes, young black women in STEM. That's very awesome.
Yes.
And final two shout outs. Shout out to my best friend, my co-host, Sid the Great, for starting her classes for film.
Oh, yay.
I'm so proud of her. I'm so excited for you. Chasing your dreams. You always inspire me forever and always.
Thank you, Queen.
One more shout out, black on black support. Shout out to your mama, because your hair is looking really immaculate today.
Oh, yeah, because I didn't do it.
Yeah. No, it looks amazing.
It is old. Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Sydney,
I also got a fresh haircut.
Sydney has the hair. She has the things. Old.
Yeah, I was going to cut it all off. Did you see that on social media?
No, but I literally yesterday I was like, if I didn't have my braids in like right this second, I would go shave my head bald. I don't know why. I was having a Britney Spears moment.
Yeah,
I still am, actually.
I was like, I am, because I don't like long hair. And it's, again, knowing yourself and finding yourself in life, I think is a beautiful thing. I only kept long hair for as long as I did because I didn't want to disappoint my mom. But then I realized, I was like, I'm super tender-headed. I don't want to take, I get 2 days off a week working full time. I don't want to take 5 hours of my 2 days off doing my hair. I'm good. So I was literally like, why am I growing this out? So that's why I cut, like, all the back is gone. I had like a mohawk since January. And
if
I was
you
just
listen
like,
to the podcast, pause it, go to Sydney's Instagram and be like, God damn, sis, your hair is fire. Because it is. If you've seen it in person, like, I've literally never seen Sydney's hair look bad, and it's actually upsetting because mine is trash all the time, so I can't wait to shave it.
First of all, Aisha has a big hair, so she's close to God, and you shit on yourself, and I don't know why, because your hair is fire, and if I had your hair, I would be living my best.
Nope. This is my black on black support segment. Can you please mind your business? Okay. Shout out to Sydney and her hair and starting classes, and Octavia and Razan and my little sister and Sierra.
Absolutely. Shout out to all those wonderful.
All black women.
Yep.
Yes.
Shout out to all those beautiful black women. Yes, ma'am. All right. So next is mental health check-in.
Mental health. I feel like mine is quick and easy.
Okay.
You know something?
I was going to answer the question you asked me last week, like my other two.
Oh, okay.
But I forgot.
Okay.
To do it. So.
All right.
Go ahead, girl.
So mental health check-in. I just want to send a PSA out there that we have connotations about words, right? Negative connotations. And like I said earlier, this is my mental health check-in, that selfish is not negative. Mm-hmm. Take the negative connotation out of the word selfish. Yeah. Taking care of self-love, self-care, self-motivation. All of these things are important. Mm-hmm. All of these things are okay. All of these things are good. All of these things are positive. Mm-hmm. If somebody says you're being selfish, maybe that's a good fucking thing. Yeah. I got told actually a couple of days ago that I'm selfish because when people disturb my energy, I just cut them off. Mm-hmm. And they're like, that's just so bad. That's so mean. That's so hard on people. And I was just like, oh, look in my face and ask me with a straight face if I give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because my peace is thicker than blood.
Yeah.
My peace is thicker than water, it's thicker than blood. I don't care if you're a family member, if you're a friend, if you're a teacher. I don't care who you are. If you're a boss, if you disrupt my peace, then I have the full right to be like, whoo, bye-bye.
Right.
I don't have to explain to you why my peace has been disrupted. Maybe that's a mature thing, but I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Because maybe that's taking me even further out of my peace to address something that I feel like maybe you should have already known, or maybe that's just a respectful or just a common decent thing to do. Like, I don't have to correct you all those times because I don't have to change anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't need to change you.
Yeah.
If you disrupt my peace, I don't have to say, let me correct this so they never disrupt my peace again. I could literally just say, they disrupt my peace. I don't like their energy. I'm out. Like, I don't have to deal with you disrupting me. And it's not like I'm going to put you on ice and then make you feel really bad and then I'll take you back. I literally can just be like, oh, actually, goodbye. Like, there are plenty of people that I never thought I could live without, and look at me today, surviving, living, breathing without certain people that I thought I never could.
And the only reason why you wouldn't be breathing is because of the Amazon.
In 30 years. But other than that, like, I'm surviving and I'm breathing okay without people that I thought I could never live without. So being selfish is okay. It's not a negative word. Take that connotation out. Love yourself. Take care of yourself first. Just like when you're on a plane, they say put your mask on first before you help your neighbor, your son, your mama, the person in the back seat, the person beside you. Take care of self first, because you're not good to anybody if you don't do that.
Absolutely.
So be selfish. That's my mental health check-in.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I appreciate that. I think that's actually, like you said, selfish does have a negative connotation. I think I get called selfish for wanting people to be in my presence.
Woo, Sydney is selfish, let me tell you.
And I'd be like, and I had to think about it. Like, I was like, you know what? Like, I was like, if this is being selfish, then I think I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Like, I'm sorry that I love you so much that I want you to be around. And we already don't see each other like that, because that's how adulting is.
Yeah.
So when I get the chance to be around you, I want you to be here and present and not on your phone. Like, I'm sorry. If that's selfish, then I'm okay with that.
And you know what? You don't have to change anybody who feels otherwise. You could just be like, maybe they're just not maybe I need to change my circle. Like we said earlier, sometimes people are seasonal. Yeah. And we can talk about that in another segment, but people are seasonal, and that's okay. And seasonal is not a bad term either. Yeah. People just have their seasons. They have their timings to be in your life. And when it's over, it's over. Yeah. Or maybe it'll be a cycle. Maybe they'll come back at another time when you need them in your life. But it's okay for people to be seasonal. It's okay to be selfish. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Mental health. Mwah.
All right. So affirmations. I just wanted to say to all of our listeners that I think it is best for us to fall in love with the journey of things. Like Aisha said earlier, I just started school for film, and I'm literally sitting in class and my professors are talking about apertures and f-stops and ISOs, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is this shit? But it's like this, like, or even just talking about composition, like as a cinematographer, as a director, you get to choose what people see and what they don't see, and all of that, it sends a message to your audience. And I'm sitting here like, oh my god, how long is it going to take me before I'm good at this? Like, how long is it going to take me before I know where to put the camera and how to angle it and da 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 da. And then I'm like, you know what? This is why you don't walk out onto a set and be like, hey everybody, put me in the credits as a cinematographer. This is why you start at the bottom. This is why you start as, I think it's, and this is no disrespect if I'm using the title wrong, but I think that's why you start as a production assistant, because you come in and you learn, and I don't think you get paid, unfortunately. Like, you should get paid something, I hope, because I ain't trying to be starving. But it's like, that's why you start where you start. That's why you must read books. That's why you must take the time to practice, and that's why you must take the time to learn. But it's like, if you fall in love with the journey, because you don't know how long it's going to take you to get there. People don't just snap their fingers and be CEOs. Yeah. People don't just snap their fingers and be directors. Like, you have to fall in love with the journey.
Well, some people do,
things.
because nepotism.
Right. But for those of y'all out there who are just starting something or afraid to start something, just start and practice and fall in love with the journey of getting good, because I think it's kind of like the on your way up to the top is supposed to be the part that takes a while, and you should enjoy it if you can. You can't get your time back. So enjoy the time that you spend practicing and learning. And if you're not enjoying it and it's just agony, maybe you're doing the wrong thing. And it's okay to admit that to yourself too, and find what really fulfills you and what you really love. But I just really want you to fall in love with the journey of things and enjoy life, because it's short. And clearly we only got 30 years left. And it takes 10,000 hours to get good at something. So I hope you enjoy that 10,000 hours, and that you enjoy your journey, and that you meet yourself where you're at, and you grow and you learn, you live and you love. Yay. And so that closes us out, y'all. We appreciate y'all being here with us for an hour and 50-something minutes.
Jesus.
Hour and 40-something minutes. Yeah. But we were gone for 2 weeks. So guess what? Now you got like
you're
2 episodes.
All welcome.
Episodes 5 and 6 or 4 and 5.
Yeah, we know some people don't wash their legs in the shower. So when you listen to us, just wash your legs in the shower and you'll listen to, a little bit more and more at a time. And you'll get through the episode.
Yeah, take time to get to the upper back.
Yeah. Okay, upper back. Some people get out the shower and their back is still dry. So God bless. Behind your ears, all that shit. When you take a good time to wash in the shower, you're going to be like,
if you got gauges, you got to take them out and clean them in the shower.
Yeah, you don't want stinky ear holes.
Yeah, nobody wants that. And if you wearing, did you know if you wear, sorry, last tangent. If you wear like stone or wood, your skin can bind to it.
Ew.
Yeah.
Gross.
It's like, people have like wooden tunnels, like your skin can bind to it. So yeah, that's yours. Sydney, the science, whatever line rhymes with Sydney. So yeah, all right, y'all, that's it. We thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
We love
and
y'all.
give us lots of feedback to let us know how you feel about Cap and Jay-Z and children getting Sharpie scalped and just all the things. Let us know how you feel about this episode. We love y'all. We're grateful for your support.
And after you let us know that, rate, subscribe, rate, because then more people can see us and we can get paid for this and we can do it more often and y'all ain't gotta worry about us missing no weeks.
Okay, and can I say that when we say comment, rate, subscribe, turn your notifications on, we don't be saying that for our health people. Our lungs are diminishing. We're saying that actually because we need y'all to do the things.
Yes.
So if you listen, if you support us, if you like the living room, if you told a friend about it, you can literally come and be like, hey, I told my friends about it. Give us some support, give us some feedback so we know how to get better and better and grow and become basically Oprah and Gail.
Absolutely. And so we love y'all. We wish y'all peace, love, and happiness throughout your week. Do great things. Be blessed, not stressed.
Peace out. Oh, y'all ain't gotta go home. But y'all gotta get the hell out of our living room. Peace.
Bye.
Cool. I got my eyes on you. I can't seem to find the one. I guess he'll find me. Knowing it seems hard to find someone who loves me.